Hello everyone, welcome to CIVILS Career Institute. Uh, let's start today's Hindu newspaper analysis. We will start with the editorial article. Let's see this first article. Here we are having article manifestly arbitrary, clearly unconstitutional. So recently when you look at that National Capital Territory region, Delhi, there is a uh, power game is going on between the central and the state. So what is the actual issue and what is a uh, its consequences when it's come to the point of a constitutional and judiciary, how it's going to be? No, let's understand that. See, when we look at Delhi is national capital territory, and it has a two there are two things happening here. One is it has a lieutenant governor who is elected by the president, who is appointed by the president, and there is a election happening, and with that election there is a chief minister and council of ministers who are elected by people. Now when it's come to this, who has a more power regarding this Delhi? Who has a more power? When the legislative assembly has a more power or lieutenant governor has a more power? This is a conflict between the governance between this legislative governor and as well as and chief minister and council of ministers, the Delhi. So in this regard, recently what happened, if we look at the article, in the 2015 the Delhi Legislative Assembly elections was significantly won by Aam Aadmi Party, and it was. But what happened? The central government issued a notice taking control over services in the National Capital Territory. It means that, see, earlier most powers are with the lieutenant governor and certain powers with the chief minister and legislative assembly. Now what happened in 2015, when the government is formed, but immediately lieutenant governor, central government passed an ordinance. Central government passed an ordinance to take powers from state government, state government. So in that regard, Delhi government filed a case, and in the approach to the Supreme Court, and there will be a long legal battle between the central government and the state government, Delhi government, and finally in the 2023 last month, if you look at, the court ruled decisively in the favor of the Delhi government, and the court's decision turned into only another pit stop. Now what happened? What is the court's decision is, if you look at the court decision, in its judgment it is giving into 2023, the court explicitly recognized this by formulating the concept of the triple chain accountability. And what is the triple chain accountability? In the sense, it's a C. The triple chain accountability is integral to representative democracy and proceeds as follows. Civil servants are accountable to the cabinet is accountable to the legislature assembly, and the legislative assembly is periodically accountable to the electorate. So this is how the Supreme Court given its a judgment. What it means that, see, what it means, if you look at, already Delhi has a special status. Already, according to the article 239 AA, Delhi special status. Already Delhi has a special status. And in certain extreme, so that already explicitly deprives Delhi's legislative assembly. and by extension the Delhi government form legislation taking executive action under the three fields that are otherwise reserved for the states. One is public order, land and police. Well, look, if you look at this, the LG has the LG has three powers on the land, police and public order, and these are the powers associated with the lieutenant governor, and whereas the chief ministers having powers over the services which comes in the state list along with other powers. Now what is happening with the new ordinance passed by this central government, with the new ordinance passed by the central government, if you look at this, there will be a conflict between the services. There will be a conflict between the services. Who will take care of the services, whether it's a lieutenant government and or else a election council of ministers, who will take the government. So in this regard, there is a complete kind of a power war is going between central government and state Delhi government. But what the judgment of the Supreme Court says is, we have to see this kind of a thing in the circumstances, any specific circumstances, we have to see a balanced interest, and we have to be more careful and responsible to understand the principles of representative democracy and responsible governance. So, but Delhi government is trying to get its powers back, whereas the central government, by passing certain ordinance, Delhi Services Ordinance, taking that services sector from Delhi government to central government. So there is a kind of a question, who is going to be how or taking these kind of responsibilities, how they parallelly both coordinate, and the central government and state government coordinate and keep more emphasis on the interest of the national capital and state interest parallelly. So this article, if you understand, what we need to see is 239 AA will already giving the special status to the Delhi, but there are certain powers or certain activities that are completely given to the state government, Delhi state government, whereas certain things are restricted to that, certain powers are associated with this lieutenant governor. Then how they are going to be parallelly working together to make it, this is very important concern when we see it. So next, coming to the second article in the same editorial, there is a article on the PMS Wagner is taking a march of justice. So first understand what is a PMS Wagner. So if you see this PMS Wagner, if you look at it, it is a private military organization. It's a private military organization. It was started its operations in 2014 in Russia itself. And almost it's done a lot of operations across the globe, especially in African countries. Now, what is actually why it is in the news, in the sense, it was in the news because, see, now the Wagner private company is marched towards Moscow. Why it is marching towards Moscow? In the sense, we already know that the Russia and Ukraine, there is a huge there is a war is going on, and there is a lot of in the front line, there is a lot of people are fighting each other. Now in that scenario, Russia is having this PMS Wagner group, which providing a private soldiers, private soldiers private soldiers for war. So now what the head of the Wagner group says is, even though there is some personal agendas on the Ukraine war, there is a lot of damage is happening on both sides, especially the fighters who took control, Wagner fighters who took control on the military. So if you look at it, the border issues, Ukraine border issues, and if you are taking why these border issues and all, in the sense, majorly it is just because of the corruption happened and the poor decision making of Russian Ministry of Defense, and the idea of invading Ukraine itself is it's just resonating with the common people, which is and he's also said like the minister, the defense minister of Russia, who is a master behind the invasion of Ukraine, is driven by his own personal ambition. So these are the reasons the Wagner group is not interested, and as well as there is a lots of tens of thousands of true people is lost their lives. It means that, see, the private company is fighting on behalf of this on behalf of Russia, is losing his own troop, So, and there is no point for him that why should he fight with the Russia. So that's the reason what he is doing. He is not interested in that fighting with the Ukraine, invading with the Ukraine in anymore. So he just want to do no coming out of it, and that's what he said. March of justice has happened. The march of justice has happened. Now what that Putin's statements is, the president's statements is, if you look at the president given them a three kind of scenarios, a three kind of options to them. Vladimir Putin is given a three options to them, and very clearly he said the three choices. Mr. Putin offered three choices to the Wagner fighters. One is sign a contract with the Ministry of Defense and return home, or move to neighbor Belarus. So Mr. Putin's given them three offers that they should sign a MOU or a contract with the Ministry of Defense, or and return home, or they can move to the neighboring of Belarus. So this is how he given an option, three offers. Then how that PMS Wagner company will be taking it and reciprocating it, we need to wait and see. But anyhow, if you see in the point of UPSC exams point of view, you just need to understand what is a PMS Wagner. PMS Wagner is a private military organization. It was started in 2014 in St. Petersburg, Russia. And by the 2020, it is 2022, it's become a private company. It registered as a company, and almost now it has a 50,000 soldiers with it. Almost it has a 50,000 soldiers with it. Almost we have a 50,000 soldiers. So this is, you need to be carefully understand, and let's move to the another article. Now if you look at this one more article in the Hindu paper, this article talks about organ tissue transplant and transplant organization. So recently, yesterday, if you see, recently the certain websites and social media posts are promoting and offering organ trading. Actually, organ trading becomes an activity in social media and certain websites. So for that reason, the National Organ and Tissue Transplant Organization issued a warning to that against that private websites and social media for posting such a kind of promoting and offering of organs for trade. Actually, what the governing law in India, for organs transplantation is Transplantation of Human Organ and Tissue Act 1994. So this is a governing law for the transplant of human organs trading and all. So according to this act, if anyone is doing such an activities, they are punishable offence under section 18 uh, with a fines range from 20 lakh to 1 crore, and even there is an imprisonment ranging from 5 to 10 years. So if that is the reason, this National Organ and Tissue Transplant Organization issued a notice, warning notice again, issued a warning against private websites and social media. Now let's just have a understanding of what is National Organ Tissue Transplantation Organization. It is a institute. It is an organization. It is an organization housed in Institute of Pathology. Institute of Pathology, which is a body of ICMR, which is a part of ICMR. So in the mains UPSC prelims point of view, this is important. One is, what is National Organ and Tissue Transplant Organization? It is such an organization housed in Institute of Pathology, ICMR, and what is a governing law related to the human organs and tissues transplantation? In the sense, the governing law is transplantation of human organ and tissues act 1994. This is a governing law which will be governing this thing. So now let's coming to the another article. See, next, if you see this article, which is very important, which is going to be very important in point of a prelims, SNT, Science and Technology. If you see this article, see, the European Space Agency is setting up plans to survey galaxies. So it's a using Euclid Mission. So what is the purpose of this Euclid Mission? Is it's carrying a payload. It carries a payload of telescope, which is named as a Euclidean Space Telescope. EUCLID, Euclid Space Telescope. And what is the purpose of why it is what is in the news? In the sense, it is this, by using this mission, by conducting this mission, it's the major breakthrough. They want to, the astronomers want to know that about more about dark matter and dark energy. What is the dark matter and dark energy? What is a dark matter or dark energy? And how, first I will just give you an idea of it. See, what scientists hypothesize is, usually when you look at the space, because of the huge gravitational forces, it's supposed to be converge. Because of the huge gravitational forces, because of the gravity, it's supposed to be converge. But if we look at, it is expanding vastly. It is expanding with a very high speed. So there is something, a different form of energy is making this a different expansion. Even though there is a gravity, there is expansion is popping, and the reason for this expansion is there is some mysterious energy or matter in the space is available, and that matter or that energy, we call it as a dark matter or dark energy. And this Euclidean mission will be give you more ideas about dark matter and dark energy. And this is one of the first kind of a mission which is mostly emphasizing on dark matter and dark energy. right? So in the prelims point of view, we just need to understand what is the in organization, in the sense European Space Agency is the organization, and what is the mission name, Euclid Mission, and what it is related, in the sense it related to the dark matter or dark energy. So these things you need to keep in mind. Let's see for the next question, next article. Now the government here given, it's an article about biofertilizers. The article about biofertilizer scheme gets central government's green light. So the cabinet committee on economic affairs on at Wednesday approved the PM Pranam. The PM Pranam is what? PM Pranam is a promotion of alternate nutrients for agriculture management yojana. Promotion of alternate nutrients for agriculture management yojana. So PM Pranam is, so the government is given an approach, the government is given approval to this PM Pranam scheme for restoration of, and a promising made the last in the last budget estimate. So what it is all about, in the sense, this to encourage the balance of fertilizers, which are biofertilizers as well as organic fertilizers. So in the prelims point of view, you have to keep in mind that what is the scheme that is relative to the biofertilizers, in the sense this is a scheme that is related to the biofertilizers. So biofertilizers, the scheme is, even though the name is not having that biofertilizers in it, promotion of alternate nutrients for agricultural management yojana is related to the biofertilizers and the organic fertilizers. And what it is doing is, it's almost here, if you look at in the scheme, what it's the approvement is almost a total outlay of 3 lakh crore, 3,70,000 crores are going to be outlaid for this nutrient based biofertilizers, and this is a very huge amount, which automatically leads that leads the less use of chemical fertilizers, so that the burden will be go less on the farmers, and it automatically increasing the revenues or increasing the income of possible income of farmers. So in this article, what we need to understand is, there is a scheme for this biofertilizers and encourage of the biofertilizers and organic fertilizers, that is a promotion of alternate nutrients for agriculture management yojana. And in this organization, so in this scheme, what we are doing, in the sense, we are encouraging the use of biofertilizers and organic fertilizers. How it will be changing the phase of farmers and their income, in the sense that we will see discuss in the economic section in the later time. Okay, next coming to the article. That's all for today. We even for more article discussion, weekly we will discuss some more current affairs and all in the mains point of view and the prelims point of view. So you can go through our channel, and you can find more videos, and you can take you can visit our website also for further courses and all. Thank you all.